Hello everyone, today we'll proceed with the lecture for remaining half of the chapter Heredity and Evolution for class 10. Without wasting any time, let's start with the explanation. So the first topic for today is sex determination. The mechanism through which sex of an offspring is determined, that is known as sex determination. वो मैकेनिज्म जिसके थ्रू हम किसी भी ऑफस्प्रिंग का सेक्स डिटरमाइन करते हैं, दैट इज नोन एज सेक्स डिटर्मिनेशन. नाउ सेक्स डिटर्मिनेशन डिपेंड्स ऑन two factors, environmental factor and the genetic factor. Now in some animals, temperature at which the fertilized egg are laid or kept, they decide the gender. kabhi kabhi in some species in animals what happens that just temperature पे fertilized eggs को रखा जाता है, वो decide करते हैं कि offspring का gender क्या होगा. So here environmental factor is working for sex determination. यहाँ environmental factor decide कर रहा है, determine कर रहा है sex of the offspring. An example is turtles. Like in turtle, and there is one species of lizard also जहाँ पे 33 degree Celsius or above temperature में female develops, and in 28 degree Celsius or below, then the offspring develops into male. So this is very interesting to realize that environmental factor is also determining the sex in some of the organisms, and then there is genetic factor in some animals. Like in most of the animals including human beings, gender of the individual is determined by the pair of chromosomes that is known as sex chromosome. So here the genetic factor is working, यहाँ पे genetic factor work कर रहा है, and यहाँ पर environmental factor work कर रहा है. So environmental factor and genetic factor, these two factors work for sex determination. Now in humans what happens, there is a pair of chromosome that is determining the gender of the individual, and we call it sex chromosome. For female it is XX and for male it is XY. So ये male और female का sex chromosome का combination होता है, that is to be remembered. And there is something very interesting to note, that snail can change their sex after maturation, means maturity पे के बाद snails अपना sex change कर सकते हैं, that is they are male in young stage and later on they develop into a female. So this is something exceptional, you don't need to learn about it, but it was just for your knowledge. So I hope sex determination ka introduction is clear. Now moving ahead and studying in detail about sex determination in humans. Humans में sex determination. Now the same way that we have done monohybrid and dihybrid cross, parent generation, father and mother. So father obviously क्योंकि male के लिए sex chromosome का combination is XY and mother is XX. So obviously XX will be there क्योंकि female के लिए the sex chromosome combination is XX and male के लिए the sex chromosome combination is XY. So now जब crossing होगी, then what will happen? Gametes का formation होगा. This X separate, this Y separate. Now here X separate, X separate, and open crossing होगी. First one with the first one with the second one. Now again यहाँ पे this Y will be crossing with first one and then Y with the second one. So in F1 generation or in the progeny we got 4 offsprings. Now here you see that the combination lead to XX, XX. So 50% probability हो गई girl child की, और यहाँ पे हमें 2 male child मिल रहे हैं, means 50% probability of boy child. So this shows that every time there is always a 50% probability for the child to be a boy or a girl. Now there is always in every pregnancy the probability is 50%. It might be a boy, it might be a girl. And all children inherit an X chromosome from their mother, regardless whether they are boys or girls. Now whether like here in boys, X chromosome receiving from the mother. Now here girls, X chromosome receiving from the mother. All children inherit X chromosome from their mother, regardless whether they are boys or girls. Thus the sex of the child is determined by whom? The father is the one who is responsible for the gender of the child. The sex of the child is determined by what they inherit from their father, क्योंकि mother की condition में तो every time mother will give an X chromosome because उसके पास और कोई different X chromosome है ही नहीं. It's the father. If the father gets father gives, already mother is giving one X chromosome and father gives X chromosome, then the child develops into girl. And if the father gives Y chromosome, then X is already there, so XY it will develop into a male. So the important thing to know that there is always 50% probability for the child to be boy or girl, and all children inherit X chromosome from their mother regardless whether they are boys or girls, and the sex of the child is determined by what they inherit from their father. Now if a child inherit X chromosome from the father, it will be a girl, because already एक X from the mother it has received. Now दूसरा X father से आ जाएगा, then XX combination हो जाएगा, and XX is female. Now if a child inherits Y chromosome from the father, it will be a boy. And then what will happen? X already is there and Y from the father will be there, so XY, then it will be boy. This one has been asked in CBSE number of times and it is important. Now talking about another thing, that is evolution. What is evolution? So before that we need to know that individuals with a particular trait may increase in a population. कोई भी individual किसी particular कोई भी trait किसी भी population में increase करता है दो reasons की वजह से, either by natural selection or by genetic drift. So now since I have introduced the term, I'll definitely explain them. So the point that you got right now, that individual with a particular trait, कोई भी trait किसी population में increase करता है दो तरह से, या तो natural selection से वो introduce हो जाएगा या genetic drift से. So let's move ahead and we'll talk about a case study and we'll try to understand these phenomena, that is natural selection and genetic drift. Now natural selection, what is natural selection? We'll try to understand what is natural selection and we'll try to understand what is genetic drift. Now natural selection means nature selects the organism with the better variation for survival. Nature हमेशा उस organism को select करता है जिसके पास survival के लिए better variation होता है. So let's try and understand. There is a case study on beetles that is also given in NCERT. There is first condition जहाँ पे in a bush there are all red beetles on the bushes. Bushes हैं जिनमें सारी red beetles हैं except one that is green. सिर्फ एक exception है वहाँ पे green. Now the crow comes and feed on the red beetle. What will happen? कि अगर green bushes पे red beetle present हैं, so red beetle will be clearly appearing, clearly visible on the bushes. So the crows will come and feed on the red beetle. The green beetle will be able to survive क्योंकि वो camouflage कर पा रहा है. So the number of red beetle reduce हो जाएंगे क्योंकि crow is feeding on red beetles. Number of red beetles will reduce. Now crow could not feed on green beetles because they are able to camouflage. वो green leaves में camouflage हो जाते हैं. And then ultimately what happens, क्योंकि crow red beetles पे feed कर लेता है, then finally only green beetles are left. सिर्फ green beetles ही survive करती हैं and green beetles are left. So यहाँ पे दो color variation था, one was red and the other one was green. And ultimately who survived? Which had better variation, जिसके पास उस environment के according better variation था, उस environment के according green color favorable था. So the green beetles had that green color, so nature selected that for survival, and here the phenomena involved is natural selection. Now these changes are these variations takes place in the germ cell, means the color variation that is passed on from one generation to the next generation. So यहाँ पे जो type of variation है, जो type of variation यहाँ पे हो रहा है, that is inheritable. This type of variation is inheritable. Those variations which take place in germ cells and they are passed on from the next passed on to the next generation. Now let's talk about the second condition, the second case study. Here all the red beetles are there except one that was blue. Similar case है कि in the bushes all are red but one is exception, that is blue. But here the case will be different because crow can see both red and blue beetles. Now ultimately assumption ये था कि red beetles क्योंकि they are more in number and blue beetles they are very less in number, तो red survive कर जाएंगे and blue will not be able to survive. Now crow comes and feed on both red and blue beetle. Red is more in number, blue is less in number. Now suddenly something happened that an elephant comes and stamps on the bushes. And वो उतने ही bushes में stamp किया जहाँ पे red beetles थी. Then ultimately what will happen? Mostly blue beetles are left. So this was something that happened accidentally or by chance. Assumption कुछ और था but result हमें कुछ और मिला, and that is genetic drift. So here the phenomena involved is genetic drift. And this genetic drift phenomena means the change in gene frequency of small population accidentally or by chance, because coming of the elephant and stamping the foot on that part jahan pe red beetle hai, that was accidentally or by chance. So this phenomena is known as genetic drift, and this is also which type of variation? This is also inheritable type of variation. Inheritable type of variation kyunki color variation hai. Now this will be passed on, this change takes place in the germ cell and it will be passed on to the next generation. तो ये variation inheritable variation की category में include होता है. Now let's talk about the third condition. Number of red beetle increases. Now what happens? Number of red beetle that increases. Now bushes, क्योंकि beetle अगर किसी bushes में increase कर जाएगा उनका number, तो bushes will start suffering from a plant disease. Now अगर plant disease हो जाएगा तो जो leaf का material है वो reduce होता जाएगा, क्योंकि वो उसे they start feeding on those leaves. तो leaf material reduce हो जाएगा and beetles will क्योंकि अब वो disease हो गए हैं, bushes are diseased, so leaf material कम हो गया. Now leaf material reduce हो गया तो beetles become poorly nourished because they are not getting proper food. They feed on the leaves, और leaves materially reduce हो गया, so they are not getting proper food, so they become poorly nourished. Now ultimately what happens? Average weight decrease हो गया. Average weight decrease हो गया and then number of beetles started reducing, and when they started reducing तो धीरे धीरे उनका number कम होने से plant का disease eliminate हो गया, खत्म हो गया. Now again number and average weight of beetle increases again. So जो beetle का weight था, average weight, जो नई progeny produce हुई उसमें average weight was normal. It was not that poorly nourished beetles. Why? Because यहाँ पे कोई genetic change involved नहीं था. So here the phenomena involved, there is no genetic change, and this type of variation is non-heritable variation या somatic variation. Here ये जो फूड अवेलेबिलिटी की वजह से जो चेंज आया था, दैट डज नॉट टेक प्लेस इन द जर्म सेल. सो दिस इज सोमैटिक वेरिएशन, ये सोमैटिक सेल में चेंज हुआ. सो दीज वेरिएशंस आर एक्वायर्ड ड्यूरिंग द लाइफ टाइम एंड दे आर नॉट पास्ड ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट प्रोजेनी, दे आर नॉट पास्ड ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट जनरेशन. सो बेसिकली दिस टाइप ऑफ केस स्टडी में you will be asked about what phenomena is involved and you will be asked about what type of variation is involved in this. Now let's move on and talk about the other points in the chapter. Now this point says traits acquired during lifetime cannot be inherited. जो characters हम अपनी lifetime में acquire करते हैं, that cannot be inherited to the next generation. Why? There is a reason behind. Because ये जो changes या traits हम अपनी lifetime में acquire करते हैं, they occur due to change in somatic cell. And सिर्फ वही traits, वही characters हमारी next progeny में transmit हो सकते हैं जो germ cell या reproductive cell में होते हैं. So that is why this point is justified that traits acquired during lifetime, जो भी changes हम अपनी lifetime में acquire करते हैं, like in beetles, the case study of beetle, जो beetles poorly nourished हो गई थी, वो lifetime में change आया था उनके. during lifetime they were not getting proper food, so they became poorly nourished. लेकिन जो next generation, जो next progeny produce हुई, they had proper average weight. So उनमें वो change inherit नहीं हुआ, उन्होंने वो change inherit नहीं किया, because वो change somatic cell में हुआ था और सिर्फ वही traits आगे next generation में transmit हो पाते हैं जो germ cell में होते हैं. So this is the important point. Traits acquired during lifetime cannot be inherited because they occur due to change in somatic cell or non-reproductive cells. Only those characters or those traits can be transmitted or inherited which occur in germ cell. Now difference between acquired trait and inherited trait. Inherited traits are obtained from the parent. वो कैरेक्टर्स जो हम अपने पेरेंट्स से ऑब्टेन करते हैं उन्हें हम इनहेरिटेड ट्रेट्स बोलते हैं. एंड द कैरेक्टर्स और ट्रेट्स दैट आर एक्वायर्ड ड्यूरिंग द लाइफ टाइम, दैट इज नोन एज एक्वायर्ड ट्रेट्स. फॉर एग्जाम्पल कलर वेरिएशन, वो इनहेरिटेड ट्रेट था, और पुअरली नरिश्ड होना, दैट वाज एक्वायर्ड ट्रेट. नाउ इनहेरिटेड ट्रेट डेवलप ड्यू टू चेंज इन द जर्म सेल. जब जर्म सेल में चेंज होता है तब वो डेवलप होती हैं. एंड एक्वायर्ड ट्रेट्स डेवलप ड्यू टू चेंज इन द सोमैटिक सेल. इनहेरिटेड ट्रेट को नेक्स्ट जनरेशन में पास ऑन किया जाता है. दे कैन बी पास्ड ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट जनरेशन, वेयर इज एक्वायर्ड ट्रेट, क्योंकि ये सोमैटिक सेल में चेंज की वजह से डेवलप होती है, दे कैन नॉट बी पास्ड ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट जनरेशन. नाउ आई एम गिविंग यू अ वेरी गुड एग्जांपल फॉर इनहेरिटेड ट्रेट. Free and attached earlobe. If you observe your earlobes, you might be having, few of you might be having free earlobes, the other ones might be having attached earlobes. So this is something, now this might be resembling one of your parent. So this you have inherited from your parent. The skin color, the eyeball color, this is something we have inherited. So this is something we have obtained from our parent, and it will be passed on from the to the next generation. An acquired trait, suppose there is a mice and you cut the tail, and you expect the next progeny to have to be tailless. So that is wrong. The tailless mice will not have tailless progeny, because वो जो tail की cutting की गई थी वो उसके lifetime में वो change हुआ था. So that will not be inherited to the next progeny. So that is acquired trait. Now moving to the other point, that is speciation. Speciation means the process of formation of new species from the pre-existing population. जो पहले से exist कर रही हुई population है उसमें से कुछ नए species का formation होना, that is known as speciation. For example, humans and apes, you can see how we have been differentiated from the apes, although they were the pre-existing population. Now factors responsible for speciation. Speciation के लिए क्या क्या factors responsible होते हैं? As we have discussed, genetic drift, natural selection, ये सब responsible होते हैं speciation के लिए. Genetic drift is the change in gene frequency of small population accidentally or by chance. Gene frequency में change होना किसी भी small population में, कभी भी genetic drift large population में नहीं होता है. Genetic drift always occurs in small population by chance. Like elephant came and stamped the food, वो एक्सीडेंटली या बाय चांस जीन की फ्रीक्वेंसी में चेंज हुआ, और वो बहुत स्मॉल पॉपुलेशन थी. इट वाज अ स्मॉल पॉपुलेशन ऑफ बीटल ऑन अ बुश. सो जेनेटिक ड्रिफ्ट के लिए दो कंडीशन इंपॉर्टेंट होती है, दैट देयर शुड बी स्मॉल पॉपुलेशन एंड इट शुड अकर बाय चांस. दैट इज जेनेटिक ड्रिफ्ट. नाउ मूविंग टुवर्ड्स अदर फैक्टर जो स्पीसिएशन के लिए रिस्पॉन्सिबल है. टोटली एक नई स्पीशीज बन जाती है. नेचुरल सिलेक्शन. नेचर सिलेक्ट्स द ऑर्गेनिज्म विद द बेटर वेरिएशन फॉर सर्वाइवल. सपोज देर आर टू वेरिएशन, जैसे बीटल्स के केस में था कि रेड कलर बीटल थी एंड ग्रीन कलर बीटल थी. तो रेड कलर बीटल वाज नॉट फेवरेबल अकॉर्डिंग टू द इन्वायरमेंट. उस इन्वायरमेंट के अकॉर्डिंग उसका रेड कलर उसके लिए फेवरेबल नहीं था. सो अल्टीमेटली हु सर्वाइव्ड, हु वाज सिलेक्टेड बाय नेचर फॉर सर्वाइवल, दैट वाज द ग्रीन कलर. सो नेचर सिलेक्ट्स ऑर्गेनिज्म विद अ बेटर वेरिएशन फॉर सर्वाइवल. तो उस इन्वायरमेंट के अकॉर्डिंग बेटर वेरिएशन था ग्रीन कलर, सो इट वाज सिलेक्टेड टू सर्वाइव. सो दीज आर द टू फैक्टर्स responsible for speciation. Now we'll talk about other factors also. Geographical isolation. Geographical isolation के बारे में बात करते हैं. Due to geographical barriers हो जाते हैं, लाइक कॉन्टिनेंटल ड्रिफ्ट होना, क्रीपिंग ऑफ ग्लेशियर्स, लैंडस्लाइड्स, माउंटेन रेंजेस, इन सब की क्रीपिंग की वजह से पॉपुलेशन गेट्स आइसोलेटेड एंड दे आर नॉट एबल टू इंटरब्रीड. जो पॉपुलेशन के इंडिविजुअल्स होते हैं वो सेपरेट हो जाते हैं, आइसोलेट हो जाते हैं और वो इंटरब्रीडिंग नहीं कर पाते हैं. सो दे आर लेफ्ट विद द ऑप्शन टू ब्रीड विद द पॉपुलेशन दैट इज प्रेजेंट. उसे दूसरे स्पीशीज के साथ ब्रीड करना पड़ता है. दैट इज ज्योग्राफिकल आइसोलेशन, जिससे नए स्पीशीज का फॉर्मेशन होता है. चेंज इन डीएनए दैट लीड्स टू वेरिएशन. सडनली अगर कोई चेंज आता है in DNA that leads to variation. Now don't get confused between genetic drift and mutation. Genetic drift and mutation are two different things. Genetic drift by chance होता है, accidentally होता है, and small population में होता है. Mutation is sudden change in the base pair of DNA that leads to variation. Now another question, let's discuss few questions of NCERT. There are small number of tigers and they are a cause of worry from genetic point of view. If there are small number of tigers, they are a cause of worry from genetic point of view. Why? Because if they all die and they become extinct, तो उनके जो genes हैं, those genes will be lost forever. We will not have the genes for tiger again because only they have the particular gene. And small number of tigers, if we will have less number of tigers, means there are less chances of variation. Variation के chances कम हो जाएंगे and variation is beneficial, important है किसी भी species के survival के लिए, उसके evolution के लिए. So that is how small number of tigers are a cause of worry. First of all, their genes will be lost forever, and secondly, less number of tigers means less chances of variation. तो variation बहुत ज़रूरी होता है survival के लिए, तो उनके survival के लिए थोड़ा सा threat हो जाएगा. Now moving ahead, geographical isolation will not be a major factor in the speciation of self-pollinating or asexually reproducing animal. अगर कोई सेल्फ पॉलिनेटिंग प्लांट है या एसेक्सुअली रिप्रोड्यूसिंग एनिमल है, उसमें जोग्राफिकल आइसोलेशन का बैरियर कोई बैरियर की तरह काम नहीं करेगा. इट विल नॉट बी इफेक्टिंग स्पीसिएशन, क्योंकि सेल्फ पॉलिनेटिंग प्लांट को अगर जोग्राफिकल बैरियर हो भी जाता है, कोई जोग्राफिकल बैरियर क्रिएट भी हो जाता है, तो उसे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ने वाला. इट विल नॉट हैव एनी इफेक्ट, क्योंकि उसे दूसरे पार्टनर की रिक्वायरमेंट नहीं होती है. इट इज सेल्फ पॉलिनेटिंग, इट डज नॉट रिक्वायर अनदर प्लांट. asexually reproducing organism self sufficient है. It does not require another animal, it does not require a mate. So geographical isolation अगर इनका कर भी दिया जाता है, उनमें कोई मेजर चेंज नहीं आएगा, उसमें स्पीसिएशन में ये एक मेजर फैक्टर की तरह काम नहीं करेगा, बिकॉज दीज सेल्फ पॉलिनेटिंग प्लांट एंड asexually reproducing animal are self sufficient. उनको दूसरे मेट की जरूरत नहीं है. They do not have to look for another plant or another organism to carry out reproduction. They are self sufficient. So evidences in favor of evolution are homologous organs, analogous organs and fossils. ये तीन ऐसी evidences हैं हमारे पास जो favor कर रहे हैं कि evolution has taken place. Now let's talk about homologous organs in detail. Homologous organs के बारे में पढ़ते हैं. These organs have the same structure and origin but perform different function. ये वो organs होते हैं जिनका structure और origin तो same होता है, but they perform different function and they provide evidence of divergent evolution. वो divergent evolution का evidence provide करते हैं. Divergent evolution means common ancestry. Suppose you'll try and understand forelimb of frog. Frog का forelimb, it is used for jumping. Lizard का forelimb, it is used for crawling on the walls, and birds ka forelimb is used for flying. Humans forelimb, that is hand, they are used for holding, catching and doing a number of things. So यहाँ पे ये जो structures हैं, इनका जो basic structure है सारे forelimbs का, that is almost same, but they all are performing different function. So these are examples of homologous organs, जहाँ पे organs have the same basic structure, same origin, but they perform different function. वो अलग अलग function perform करते हैं. So that is known as homologous organs, and ये divergent evolution का evidence provide करते हैं. Divergent means common ancestry. एक point से diverge कर रही हैं rays means वो common ancestor है और किसी common ancestor से ये सारे organisms evolve कर रहे हैं. So homologous organs provide evidence of divergent evolution, that is common ancestry. इसीलिए उनका same structure, origin और structure same होता है, but function is different. Now analogous organs, just the opposite. These organs have different origin. इनका origin अलग अलग होता है, but they perform the same function. So they provide evidence of convergent evolution. अगर आपने light beam study करी होगी, then you might have seen one point and diverging rays and converging rays. So अगर converge कर रहे हैं जाके means they have different ancestry and they are showing something in common, their function. So analogous में same function and homologous में same origin. That is what you have to remember, that one is having same function and the other one is having same origin or same structure. So analogous have same function and they provide evidence of convergent evolution, means यहाँ पे common ancestry नहीं है, यहाँ पे different ancestry है. For example, wings of birds, wings of bat and wings of insect, all are used for flying, but they are performing the same function, but their basic structure is different. क्योंकि bat में जो wings होते हैं वो actually wings नहीं है, वो skin fold है. Wing of birds, they are made up of feathers, and wings of insect, they are made up of something membranous. तो वो अलग अलग origin है, उनका structure अलग है, but they are performing the same function. Sting of scorpion and sting of honeybee, both are used for poisoning, but they are made up of different structures. So different structure but same function, that is analogous. Different same structure but different function, that is homologous. Now let's talk about fossils. Fossils are remains or impressions, remnants or impressions of organism that existed in the past but no longer alive now. Fossils उन organisms का remain या impressions हैं जो पहले exist कर रहे थे but they are no longer alive now. And study of fossils is known as paleontology. हम fossils की study को paleontology बोलते हैं. Fossils can be found in sedimentary rocks only. Fossils are found in sedimentary rocks only. Now there are few examples were mentioned in NCERT, so you should know the invertebrate fossil that was found, that was ammonite and trilobite. जो invertebrate fossil मिला था उसे ammonite and trilobite बोलते हैं. And fossil fish, जो fish का fossil मिला था, that is known as Mytia. And fossil dinosaur skull, that's the name is Rajasaurus. So the name of fossil dinosaur skull, that is Rajasaurus. Fossil fish, that is Mytia. And invertebrate fossil, that is ammonite and trilobite. Now moving ahead, we'll talk about fossil Archaeopteryx. Archaeopteryx जो fossil है, that possess features of both reptiles as well as birds. Now ये जो fossil हमें मिला था Archaeopteryx, this suggests that the birds have evolved from reptiles, क्योंकि जो sequence था, that was fishes, amphibians, birds, reptiles and mammals. So the sequence के according, that is fishes, amphibians, reptiles, birds, mammals, तो उसके according reptiles evolution पहले हुआ, birds का बाद में हुआ. So fossil Archaeopteryx ये show कर रहा है कि उसके पास दोनों के features है, reptiles and birds. Now this is proving that the birds have evolved from reptiles, और ये एक connecting link की तरह behave कर रहा है between birds and reptiles, and it is suggesting that the birds have evolved from reptiles. Please do remember the name of this fossil, Archaeopteryx. Now age of fossil की age determine करने के लिए दो methods होते हैं. One is relative method and the other one is radioactive carbon dating method. Relative method के according जो fossil deeper strata यानी deeper layer of soil में present है, that is older, and the one which is present in the upper strata, that is recent. Obviously जो पहले जो organism की death हुई होगी वो पहले सबसे नीचे दब गया होगा, and then finally the upper strata will have the more recent one. So this is the relative method जहाँ पे सबसे lower strata में oldest organism है, the fossil present in the deeper strata is older, and the one present in the upper strata is the recent one. यहाँ पे with the help of diagram it is shown also that why the older ones fourth strata में present है, तो ये simple body organization होगी उसकी, and this will be the older fossil, and जो second strata में दिख रहा है वो थोड़ा recent होगा और इसकी complex body organization होगी. Now talking about radioactive dating method. Now these sedimentary rocks contain radioactive elements जो अपनी radioactivity को lose करते हैं, and they start changing into non-radioactive isotopes. Now they are changing into these non-radioactive isotope at a fixed rate. वो एक fixed rate पे change होते रहते हैं along time, regardless of any other factor. So the amount of carbon-14, radioactive isotope of carbon-14 जितना उन fossils में बचा है, that is used to determine the age. So the amount of carbon-14 left in the fossil is used to determine the age, and that is known as radioactive carbon dating method. And C14 normally carbon-12 होता है, but ये क्योंकि radioactive isotope है carbon का, so that is carbon-14. So what is radioactive carbon dating method? कि उस fossil में कितना amount of carbon-14 present है उसकी basis पे हम उसकी age determine करते हैं. Now अगर recent fossil है तो हम carbon dating method use करते हैं. अगर million years old fossil है, मतलब thousands of years को हम recent fossil में consider कर रहे हैं. So million year old fossil है तो हम uranium lead dating method, potassium argon dating method use करते हैं, और बहुत recent technique जो use करी जाती है, that is electron spin resonance. Now these three are just for your reference, they are not as at 10th level. So the thing that you need to know properly, that is relative method and radioactive dating method. Now talking about role of fossils. Fossils क्या role है? Fossils provide direct evidence of evolution. They provide direct evidence of evolution कि evolution हुआ. Like suppose Archaeopteryx वो evolution show कर रहा है that birds have evolved from reptiles. तो इसका मतलब evolution हुआ. So they provide direct evidence. Proof होते हैं evolution का, and they help in tracing evolutionary relationship, how one organism is related to the other organism, how the new species have evolved from the older one, क्या क्या changes हुए, that is helping in tracing evolutionary relationship. Now the third one, fossil present in the deeper strata, ये इंडिकेट करता है सीक्वेंस ऑफ एवोल्यूशनरी चेंजेस. तो एवोल्यूशनरी चेंजेस का सीक्वेंस बताता है, एंड इट हेल्प्स इन ट्रेसिंग एवोल्यूशनरी रिलेशनशिप्स, and it also provides direct evidence of evolution. Now moving ahead, let's talk about the human races. All the human races like Asian, African, European, Americans, and others might have evolved from a common ancestor. How can you justify this statement that all the human races, Asians, Africans, Europeans, Americans, they all have evolved from a common ancestor? Give reasons. Because their common body design and structure, they're having common body design, body structure, whether the person is American, whether the person is Indian, जो basic structure है body का वो same होता है. They have same physiology and metabolism, means उनकी body की working भी almost same होती है. Our kidneys are also performing the same function, their kidneys are also performing the same function. So common body design structure, same physiology, function, metabolism. We all have same chromosome number. They are also having 46 chromosomes or 23 pair of chromosome. We are also having 46 chromosome or 23 pair chromosome, and they are capable of interbreeding. There is no restriction that an American cannot marry an Indian, an Indian cannot marry a European, because they are capable of interbreeding, means they have evolved from a common ancestor. Same species है, interbreeding कर रहे हैं, so they all have evolved from a common ancestor. These are the reasons that support the statement. Now, human beings are different from each other in terms of look, size and color, but they are said to belong to same species. Again कि अलग अलग races हैं, Asians, Africans, Europeans, they all differ from each other in terms of looks, size and color, but we say that they all belong to the same species. So same species को belong करें, इसके लिए सबसे बड़ा reason ये है कि वो interbreed कर सकते हैं. They can interbreed, and अगर वो interbreed कर रहे हैं, so they are belonging to the same species. So because they can interbreed to reproduce to produce fertile offspring, so that is why we say कि वो same species को belong करते हैं. Now जो earliest member थे Homo sapiens के या human beings के, they have been traced back in Africa. उनकी जो origin है वो basically Africa में थी. Some of our ancestors stayed in Africa, कुछ अफ्रीका में ही रुक गए, while the other migrated to different continents, and while moving, see what happened कि जो roots हैं Homo sapiens की, human beings की, that have been traced in Africa, means origin Africa का था. Some of the ancestors stayed in Africa while the others migrated to different continent. कुछ वहीं पर रुक गए and the others started migrating, और जैसे जैसे they were moving from place to place, they acquired some morphological differences. उनमें कुछ morphological differences आए and they changed into different races. Now this difference in skin color, height, ये सब environmental adaptations की वजह से हुआ है. As we've already discussed कि दो चीज़ें determine करती हैं physical appearance को, the gene and the environment. तो environment यहाँ पे work कर रहा है in formation of different human races. Now evolution does not mean ladder like progress. Evolution को हम ये बोलते हैं कि ladder like pattern नहीं है. Evolution is not a ladder like pattern. Evolution एक ladder like pattern नहीं follow करता है कि जो पहले आया that is least capable and जो बाद में आया that is most capable. So means the one at the bottom is least capable and the one at the topmost ladder is most capable. Evolution कोई ladder like progress follow नहीं करता है. Instead it shows a tree branching pattern. This is important to note. And this is very complicated also. Evolution का मतलब हमेशा progress नहीं होता है. Evolution does not always mean progress. It is a generation of diversity. Evolution का मतलब diversity create करना by environmental selection. Now during course of evolution के course में simple body design से complex body designs का formation होता गया. Simple body designs have given rise to the complex body designs. Now this in any case does not mean, इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि जो simple body design है वो inefficient थे, वो incapable थे. They were not capable. It means that the complex body designs are formed by natural selection and genetic drift. तो अगर in the course of evolution we studied कि जो पहले बने थे the simple body ones have given rise to the complex body designs. Now इसका मतलब ये नहीं होता है कि जो simple body designs वाले organisms थे they were inefficient. This means कि जो complex body designs का formation हुआ means जो new individuals का formation हुआ that was due to natural selection and genetic drift. इन दो phenomena की वजह से complex body design form हुए. Now example bacteria simplest organism है जिनका body organization simple है but still they can live in extreme environmental conditions और ये capacity human beings में नहीं है. Human beings have a complex body structure but they cannot live in extreme conditions. And still one more thing कि human beings have a complex body structure but that does not mean the end of evolution कि ये evolution का end है. Evolution can happen Furthermore, so this is explaining that evolution is not following a ladder like pattern, it is showing a tree branching pattern. वो diversity show कर रहा है due to natural selection and genetic drift, and simple body design कहीं से भी ये explain नहीं करता है that the ones with simple body designs were inefficient. It shows कि जो complex body design का formation हुआ है that is due to natural selection and genetic drift. एन एग्जाम्पल सबसे अच्छा बैक्टीरिया है कि बैक्टीरिया सबसे पहले अर्थ पे एग्जिस्ट करे एंड बैक्टीरिया का सिंपल बॉडी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन था, बट स्टिल उनके पास जो कैपेबिलिटी है वो मोस्ट इवॉल्व ह्यूमन बींग्स के पास नहीं है. दे कैन नॉट टॉलरेट एक्सट्रीम एनवायरमेंटल कंडीशंस, बट बैक्टीरिया कैन डू सो. सो दिस इज प्रूविंग द फैक्ट. नाउ टॉकिंग अबाउट आर्टिफिशियल सिलेक्शन, the process of selecting genetically improved variety by man. Natural selection में nature was selecting the better variation for survival. Now यहाँ पे artificial selection में क्या हो रहा है, man is selecting the genetically improved variety. Genetically improved variety का selection is done by man and that is known as artificial selection. Now finally इस phenomena में होता क्या है, selection of individual with the desired characters. हम उन individuals को select करते हैं जिनके पास हमारे desired characters हैं, and then selected individuals की breeding करा देते हैं. They are interbred. Now we'll repeat the breeding process till many generations जब तक हमें desired character उस individual में या उसकी progeny में obtain नहीं हो जाता है. So this is artificial selection. एंड देन इसका एग्जाम्पल है फार्मर्स ने कुछ एंटायरली डिफरेंट लुकिंग वेजिटेबल्स डेवलप किए थे फ्रॉम वाइल्ड कैबेज वेराइटी. एक वाइल्ड कैबेज वेराइटी से उन्होंने बहुत सारे डिफरेंट लुकिंग वेजिटेबल्स डेवलप किए थे बाय आर्टिफिशियल सिलेक्शन. एंड दे आर लाइक, जब उन्होंने टर्मिनल लीफ बड का सिलेक्शन किया तो कैबेज का फॉर्मेशन हुआ. अरेस्टेड फ्लावर डेवलपमेंट सिलेक्ट किया, देन ब्रोकोली यू ऑल माइट बी नोइंग. एंड सिलेक्शन फॉर स्टेराइल फ्लावर, जब स्टेराइल फ्लावर के लिए सिलेक्शन किया, देन कॉलीफ्लावर. सिलेक्शन फॉर स्वॉलन लीफ, जब स्वॉलन लीफ के लिए सिलेक्शन किया दैट वाज कोलराबी ऑब्टेन हुआ. एंड लार्ज लीफ के लिए सिलेक्शन किया, देन दे ऑब्टेन्ड केल. So from one variety, that is wild cabbage variety, farmers ने इतने सारे different looking vegetables develop कर लिए. So this was not due to natural selection, this was due to artificial selection. Now the last topic of the chapter, that is origin of life from inanimate matter. लाइफ की ओरिजिन किसी एनिमेट किसी लिविंग थिंग से नहीं हुई थी. इट वॉज फ्रॉम इनएनिमेट ऑब्जेक्ट, नॉन लिविंग थिंग. नाउ फॉर दिस मिलर एंड यूरे, इसको प्रूव करने के लिए मिलर एंड यूरे ने एक एक्सपेरिमेंट परफॉर्म किया था एंड दैट वाज नोन एज सिमुलेशन एक्सपेरिमेंट. एंड मिलर एंड यूरे कंडक्टेड इट. सो मिलर एंड यूरे परफॉर्म सिमुलेशन एक्सपेरिमेंट फॉर ओरिजिन ऑफ लाइफ फ्रॉम इनएनिमेट ऑब्जेक्ट. उन्होंने ये एक्सपेरिमेंट परफॉर्म किया था टू प्रूव दैट लाइफ की ओरिजिन ऑफ लाइफ हैज टेकन प्लेस फ्रॉम इनएनिमेट ऑब्जेक्ट और नॉन लिविंग मैटर. नाउ उन्होंने क्या किया था, दे टुक मीथेन, अमोनिया, hydrogen and water vapor, and they took methane, ammonia, hydrogen in the ratio 2:1:2. So उन्होंने मीथेन, अमोनिया, हाइड्रोजन और वाटर वेपर लिया था इन द रेशियो 2:1:2. वाटर वेपर का रेशियो इज नॉट इंक्लूडेड. एंड दे पास इलेक्ट्रिक स्पार्क थ्रू द मिक्सचर. उस मिक्सचर के थ्रू उन्होंने इलेक्ट्रिक स्पार्क पास किया था. एट द एंड आफ्टर सेवरल डेज व्हाट हैपेंड कि जो 15% कार्बन था दैट हैज बीन कन्वर्टेड टू अमीनो एसिड, वो अमीनो एसिड में कन्वर्ट हो गया था. नाउ इफ यू ऑल आर अवेयर दैट अमीनो एसिड प्रोटीन के बिल्डिंग ब्लॉक्स होते हैं. प्रोटीन्स आर फाउंड इन ह्यूमन बींग्स और लिविंग ऑर्गेनिजम्स में प्रोटीन प्रेजेंट होता है. सो अल्टीमेटली जब वो 15% कार्बन अमीनो एसिड में कन्वर्ट हो गया और अमीनो एसिड प्रोटीन के बिल्डिंग ब्लॉक्स होते हैं. सो दिस वाज प्रूव्ड दैट this origin of life has taken place from inanimate matter. Inanimate means non-living. So that was all for today. Thank you.